femme, donc chez YouTube, précisément le docteur Vishaal Virani. Merci d'être avec nous et d'être venu de Grande-Bretagne. Tout à l'heure, a été évoquée la possibilité d'utiliser plus efficacement, on en parlait, Denise, le numérique en termes de prévention. Je rappelle que YouTube est un outil qui est extrêmement puissant dans ce domaine par la population qu'il touche. On a souvent dit, pareil, autour de cette table, que Internet, c'était un peu un double tranchant. Ça pouvait être complètement rassurant, ça peut être aussi complètement flippant lorsque l'on regardait certaines vidéos ou certaines pages sur des pathologies que l'on imagine siennes. Aujourd'hui, quoi qu'on en dise, soit qu'on en pense, YouTube, c'est un média d'information qui est extrêmement puissant. J'ai rappelé les chiffres tout à l'heure, rien que pour la France. Alors au niveau monde, je ne vous dis pas. Et avec des ambitions et de nouvelles ambitions dans le domaine de la santé. Est-ce que vous pouvez nous dire quelles sont ces ambitions justement que vous voulez développer?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me. And good afternoon, everyone. I will try to speak slowly so you can all follow. As Lionel has said, the whole world is on YouTube, and increasingly they are trying to access health information on YouTube, whether that be preventative, whether that be that they've been diagnosed with a condition and they want to find out more, they're about to have an operation and they want to see what that operation might look like. And so we have been working hard to basically make YouTube a really credible destination for high quality health information that is coming from health experts. And so we are working very closely with authoritative sources. So in the UK, we work very closely with NHS organizations, and we also work with individual healthcare professionals. And my colleague Asma is doing a similar thing in France. And so we do that, as well as a couple of product features that make it easier to find that high quality health information from the experts. So if you search for any health topic on YouTube in France, in the UK, and various other countries, at the top of the search results, you'll see a shelf that's labeled from health sources. And then that contains videos specifically coming from authoritative sources. And there will then be a little information panel against those videos that say, this is from a licensed healthcare professional. This is from a licensed nurse. This is from an organization with a licensed healthcare professional. And so we are trying to raise up those expert voices and then also make it clear to viewers that it is an expert voice that they're hearing from.
Donc, si je cherche, je ne sais pas, je suis un particulier, je vais chercher risque cardiaque, surpoids, par exemple, sur mon moteur de recherche sur YouTube. Aujourd'hui, je vais avoir différents types de vidéos qui vont m'apparaître très concrètement et qui auront été, je ne sais pas, validées par vous?
Yes, they've been validated at the source level. There are then different processes that we go through to verify and check individual videos, but at the source level, we are trying to help the viewer identify what is a health expert voice. Now, that isn't to say that it's only health expert voices that you find on YouTube. I think the beauty of YouTube is that you get a range of different perspectives from different types of individuals and organizations, and that essence of YouTube has not changed. So you can still see that whole spectrum of information, but we're just trying to signpost users to the health expert content. And you know, I think that may be a good starting point when people want to learn about a health topic. And they then may want to explore, for example, the lived experiences of an individual with that condition. And that may then not be classified in our eyes as a health expert voice, but it's still an incredibly important and valuable voice for you to hear from. And so we still provide all of that content on the platform too.
Comment est-ce que les choses, la mécanique va marcher de manière concrète? Est-ce que vous avez des batteries de médecins en train d'examiner, de regarder vidéo par vidéo ce qui se passe? Ou est-ce que le simple fait d'avoir une vidéo signée NHS, par exemple, suffit à la considérer comme une vidéo expert? Est-ce que c'est un tri qui se fait de manière manuelle, avec des humains derrière? Ou est-ce que c'est l'algorithme de YouTube qui est en train lui-même de faire monter les vidéos, de les faire descendre? Comment ça se passe, la mécanique?
So it's a combination. I think there are what we would call safe harbors of content, for example, NHS organizations, where we can trust that they are creating high quality information. And Asma in France is working with the Ministry of Health here and various other top hospitals in France. And so those we can consider safe harbors, and so we don't have to worry so much and check or verify in the same way the content that they are necessarily creating. But for all content that is uploaded onto YouTube, we do have, and it's interesting because there's been a lot of debate today in general with the healthcare system about how you combine that human expertise with technology. And that is exactly what we do at YouTube to try to assess every single video that is uploaded onto the platform. And so with health content specifically, it's a combination of human doctors, qualified doctors, plus algorithms that they are helping to train in combination that are helping to identify videos that may be either misinformation, and so we have a range of different community guidelines, we call them, focused on health topics. And if you are in violation of one of these guidelines, then that content is removed immediately from the platform, usually before it has even attracted a single view. Then we have another category which we would call lower quality or lower credibility content. So that is, the gray area. It is content maybe coming from non-expert voices, which does not have an evidence base behind it, but isn't necessarily misinformation. It's just a different perspective. And so we would then maybe reduce the visibility of that content in the search results in favor of the content from health experts, but we wouldn't remove that content. So it's a balancing act, and I think you can never make everyone happy, but we're trying to make it a safe and sort of clinically accurate place for accessing health information as far as we can.
Ce que vous êtes en train de nous raconter quand même, Dr Vishaal Virani, est extrêmement perturbant, surprenant également de la part de YouTube, avec donc cette volonté de mettre des vidéos en avant selon qu'elles sont certifiées ou non, en tout cas soit par l'algorithme, soit par des équipes physiques de médecins. Et je rappelle que vous êtes médecin tout de même à la base. Alors, parmi toutes les personnes qui émettent des vidéos aujourd'hui sur YouTube, comment est-ce que vous allez traiter, par exemple, les laboratoires pharmaceutiques qui sont aussi des annonceurs publicitaires sur YouTube et qui sont d'ailleurs, les annonceurs privés, la publicité, c'est la manne, entre autres, de YouTube derrière. Comment est-ce que vous traitez leurs vidéos ou leur communication?
Yeah, so this is a topic that we are currently trying to identify the best solution for, because I think that there are certainly challenges when you try to engage with those organizations that are maybe trying to sell a product or a service via the content they create on YouTube. But equally, and I think going back to Sam's point earlier about how we need industry to help us in our healthcare mission, there is a lot of value that some of the content that these organizations create can have on YouTube and other platforms, because they have the expertise in-house. So we think about pharma companies, they have the experts in-house, they have the mission and the objective to make the population healthier, and they have the resources to create really high quality content. And so we have, for right now, they cannot be qualified as validated health expert sources. For example, pharmaceutical companies, medical device companies, health insurance companies. But we are working on ways to bring them into the YouTube health group. And so, I think there is a lot of value that they can add, but we need to be very careful that they are not pushing their services and products. And so it's a balancing act that we need to try to figure out.
Dans tous les paradoxes que vous êtes en train de décrire actuellement, et ce vrai changement de logiciel, j'ai envie de dire, pour la part de YouTube, donc on a bien parlé du cas des laboratoires pharmaceutiques, je vous pose la même question, quid des influenceurs? Parce que YouTube, c'est quand même la possibilité, c'était la liberté totale de s'exprimer jusqu'à présent, quitte à y trouver tout et son contraire à peu près aussi en face de nous. Néanmoins, on a aujourd'hui des influenceurs, je pense à certains par exemple qui sont malades de maladies orphelines et qui sont parfois les seuls à porter leur voix, à décrire leurs symptômes, à parler à leur père également, à émettre des voix sur des maladies. On va avoir aussi d'autres influenceurs très clairement rémunérés par des laboratoires pharmaceutiques pour aller porter d'autres types de voix. On va avoir aussi des troisième catégories d'influenceurs avec des intérêts très différents ou un regard sur une pathologie, une manière de la soigner qui va être très différente. Comment est-ce que vous faites le tri entre tout ça? Parce que tout ça est quand même extrêmement nébuleux et compliqué. Et avec quelle autorité vous pouvez faire ce tri?
So you know, as you're describing this, you can see the challenges that we face as YouTube, right? And it's not just us. There's all the other social media companies that have these similar challenges. So doing hard things, you know, it's the right thing to do, but it's a hard thing to do. And so, you know, to try and address your question with the different groups you've talked about, that first group, I think is a really powerful, positive force on YouTube. And we actually have, I described the health shelves earlier, but we also have what we call personal stories shelves, where if you search for a term such as living with cancer or how to cope with depression, you may see a personal stories shelf, which will highlight content coming from those lay people, those individuals who are suffering from that condition. And so that is something that's currently available in the US, but we're looking to roll it out into various other countries as well. And then, you know, you talked about that second group that may be working with pharmaceutical companies. And so we do ask every time you upload a video, if it has been funded by any organization, you have to declare that. That is a requirement. And therefore, there will then be a little tag at the top of the video saying that this is a paid promotion. And then for your third group, who are kind of have a range of different views. So that is a challenge. And of course, during the pandemic, we did have multiple challenges here. But, you know, as I described, that combination of the medical doctors and the algorithms, we're trying to become ever more sophisticated about identifying those sources of misinformation, even when they are coming from health expert voices. And we then have a system of trying to sort of remove that video and then at some point removing that source entirely from the platform, if appropriate.
Je passerai dans quelques instants le micro à Samcha et Stéphane Pardou qui veulent aussi réagir sur ce que vous êtes en train de dire. J'avais une dernière question sur YouTube et cette question concernant ce que nous disait Denise tout à l'heure. En fait, elle nous a dit, mais peut-être que les GAFA aujourd'hui, que ce soit Apple, Google, alors YouTube ou autres, sont les mieux armés par leur capacité, ou c'était Sam qui nous a dit, je ne sais plus lequel des deux, sont les mieux armés pour nous aider dans la prévention de ce que nous faisons aujourd'hui. Après tout, ils savent le nombre de pas que l'on fait, ils savent nos habitudes très personnelles, très individualisées. Est-ce que vous vous inscrivez dans cette ligne de pensée ?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is a lot of potential from the broader group of industry players to support our healthcare objectives in every single country at the regional, at the local, regional, and then global level as well. I think there's a couple of things that we have to be mindful of there. So first of all, I think that those organizations that are starting to increasingly get involved in healthcare need to have clinicians and health experts as part of their team to help drive the offering that they are trying to develop from day one. And I think that, you know, whether it be in the smaller startup companies or some of these large industry organizations, we don't always see that. And I think that is extremely important, that we try to infuse that clinical expertise. And I think the second thing is that they need to be willing to integrate themselves into the system. I think that if you come along as a Google or a Microsoft and say, we know how to do things better than you do as the health system, we're going to completely transform and redefine the health system, I don't think that works, because the health system, as we've discussed at length this morning, it is very different from other industries, and it has lots of nuances, lots of quirks, lots of unusual aspects that you must, I think, respect if you want to be successful in the health industry. So I think that, you know, you end up needing to take longer to bring your innovations to the market in the healthcare space than in other spaces. And so the likes of Microsoft and Google need to be very patient in this sector if they want to be successful.
De manière hyper concrète, avant de passer la parole, je suis tombé il y a quelques jours sur un challenge. YouTube, c'est le pays des challenges. Maigrir en 30 jours, grossir en 30 jours, ce que vous voulez. Bon, j'arrête le sucre en 90 jours avec un influenceur qui m'explique tous les malfaits, enfin les mauvaises choses qu'apporte à mon corps le sucre, et comment cette personne a totalement arrêté le sucre artificiel dans son régime alimentaire. Et hop, on part pour 90 jours avec une vidéo par jour pour la suivre derrière et arrêter de manger totalement du sucre. Une vidéo pareille, vous la traitez comment ? C'est traité, c'est pas traité, c'est de la santé, c'est pas de la santé, c'est de la prévention, c'est pas de la prévention. Quel est votre regard de médecin de chez YouTube ?
So far, we have focused on the health education topic, so health conditions. But I think that actually there is almost a bigger potential for positive impact on YouTube on health, with the sorts of areas you're talking about around nutrition content, fitness content, and mental well-being and physical well-being content. It's a complicated sector because I think that you can't say that only a healthcare professional has the right to provide advice. I think there is a broader range of organizations and individuals that have the right.
Et la crédibilité, souvent plus crédible que des organismes publics.
Yeah, well, credibility, but the other thing that's interesting is they are potentially more engaging than public organizations as well. And engagement's important on YouTube. There is no point just saying that you are the world's expert on diabetes and providing some type of content because no one will watch it. You need someone who's really entertaining on camera as well. And so there's a balancing act, credibility, accuracy, but also entertaining and engaging. And you need to get that sweet spot.